Ladies and gentlemen, after 20 months of unabated violence, the divide in Manipur runs so deep that even the imposition of president's rule has people split. Kookie groups who have demanded the resignation of Biren Singh and the imposition of president's rule for the last 15 months welcomed president's rule, calling it a ray of hope. They've accused Biren Singh of behaving not like the Chief Minister of Manipur, but the Chief Minister of Meitis. But, ladies and gentlemen, Meitei groups in the state are now up in arms. Today, there were protests in Imphal demanding Biren Singh be retained as Chief Minister. Those are the pictures that came to us. An umbrella group of 6 Meitei organizations has even gone ahead and said that President's rule was, quote-unquote, sudden and unreasonable and a deliberate ploy to push the state into further turmoil. They say the forced resignation of the Chief Minister without an alternative leader in place begs the question: was it done for the welfare of the state, or was it a calculated move to deepen the crisis? Listen in to what some of the protesters have been saying.
डिमांड ये है कि जो हमारा मुख्यमंत्री हमारा सीएम एन बीरेन सिंह, ऑनरेबल एन बीरेन सिंह, उसका पद से रिजाइन मत करो और हमको वही सीएम चाहिए। इसी की वजह से हम लोग यहाँ में प्रोटेस्ट कर रहा हूँ। ये जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो रहा है उसका सॉल्यूशन के लिए सब हैराने कोई आपस में जोड़ के, ये अपोजिशन हो या रूलिंग पार्टी हो, वो लोग सब मिल के कैसे मणिपुर को पीस लाए, कैसे इसका ये जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का सॉल्यूशन लाए, वही धुन के पहले सॉल्यूशन लाओ, उसके बाद जो वो लोग का पॉलिटिक्स खेलना है वो लोग खेल सकता है। गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया डिवाइड एंड रूल खेलने के लिए यहाँ पे वो लोग का पॉलिटिक्स खेल रहा है। डर्टी पॉलिटिक्स यहाँ मणिपुर में मत खेलिए।
Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Minister Biren Singh put in his resignation on Sunday night, a day ahead of a crucial assembly session where the opposition was to bring a no-confidence motion against him. The fear was that his own MLAs, unhappy with his mishandling of the crisis, were planning to vote against him. That would have been a complete PR disaster for the BJP, and so the former footballer was shown the red card. The hope was that a consensus candidate could be found to replace him, but that, ladies and gentlemen, proved to be an uphill task given the fissures in Manipur BJP. And so, President's rule is now in place and the infighting goes on. The opposition is calling the BJP hopeless. The BJP in turn is saying it is hopeful that it can put a BJP CM in place soon, since the assembly has not been dissolved.
The house itself was not in order, that's why we suffered. Now also they are inviting the center to impose this because those elected members of the BJP, they are divided. So President rule is imposed because of that. You see, it is not for any other reasons. But given the way they have done it, they might deepen the scar. That's suspicions. But I pray, at the end of the day, the basic sensibility prevailed and they do a judicious job.
It appears that there are now 2 groups, the dissident groups, which was perhaps responsible for resignation of the Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, and the supporters of Mr. N. Biren Singh, especially those who were the ministers in his cabinet. So these 2 camps are perhaps trying to put up their own chief ministers.
BJP is committed towards the continuing efforts in maintaining peace and normalcy in Manipur, and we have committed ourselves to maintaining the territorial integrity of Manipur. Bharatiya Janata Party also stands firmly with the view that no illegal infiltration would be allowed across the border, and that would be dealt with a firm hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, a chief minister under whose watch a state burns for 20 months, under whose watch 258 people are killed, women are raped, they are stripped and paraded naked, under whose watch 60,000 people are displaced, needs to have been sacked a long time ago. Biren Singh is now gone. Is President's rule Manipur's best hope for peace and reconciliation? A quick chat with my guest this evening. Dr. Mary Grace Zhao is an academician. She's also a Kookie. Mathew Antony is a spokesperson of the Congress Party. And Dr. Arambam Noni is an associate professor at the DM University in Imphal. He's joining us on the broadcast. He's a Meitei. I'm horribly sorry to do this Kookie Meitei distinction on the show, but we need to tell our viewers which side all of you are speaking on behalf of. Dr. Noni, I'm coming to you first. You know, there is 6 Meitei groups in Manipur have got together, released a press statement, essentially saying that the resignation of Chief Minister Biren Singh was forced, and they are begging the question, asking the question, whether imposing of President's rule in the state was actually done for the welfare of the people, or was it a design to further push the state into turmoil? Dr. Noni, what is the logic? The Chief Minister has gone. The Chief Minister was given 20 months. He's gone. He didn't deliver. Therefore, he had to go. There was no option but to put President's rule because the BJP could not come out with an alternate Chief Minister. How is this a conspiracy to destabilize the state then?
First of all, thank you. But I want to begin by saying that I do not represent Meitis as such, and it is very unfortunate that the panelists are being divided on ethnic lines, and that's really, I think, not very good because that will only escalate the distrust between people. I only represent an academic personality, and I will speak as an academic. To begin with what you have said, I think if you look at the nature in which Article 356, Clause 1, Subsection C has been imposed in Manipur, you can see that this has been the result of an internal conflict within the BJP because they failed to produce a leader for their own party, and that was the basic reason. And I do not see these particular imposition of President's rule as of today, which is recall, suspend, and animation, as an attempt to kind of solve the problems in Manipur that has been going on for the last 21 months or so. So I think we need to de-link between the sudden coming of the Article 356 and the 21 months old ethnic problem in the state of Manipur. That's one take. The second take that I want to have is that it is again not very nice to say that the Meitei 6 groups are coming together and whatever they have done. Basically, it talks about an idea of Manipur that is multicultural, that is united, and we have had a history of that kind for long. Now, coming back to the point whether the Chief Minister was coerced or not, if you look at the sequence of events, it is very clear that there was no preparation on the part of the party as well as the incumbent officials to replace with a new Chief Minister, even though he was almost made to resign on 8 of February, he was made to resign, but there was no basic clarity on the part of the BJP leadership to replace with a new Chief Minister, and that actually led to a lot of problems. So if you are asking whether he was forced or not, if you look at the sequence of events, he went to Delhi, he came back, and he resigned on the same day. And the governor came out with a statement, a written statement that until and unless an alternative arrangement is going to be made, he was going to be the chief caretaker chief minister of the state. But there was no alternative arrangement. There was a political battle for about 3-4 days. There was a suspense, and also the governor had to declare his own order to convene state assembly on 11th of February 2025 as null and void. On the whole, I think the sequence of events actually hints to the point that the central leadership actually certainly did something that led Biren Singh to resign. But the interesting point is that that there was no ability on the part of the central leadership of BJP, despite deputing a lot of officials,
that is fine.
Northeast in charge, and political observer,
No, that is
they
fine.
failed to produce an alternative leader. So I see these as more of
No,
a
that
crisis.
is, Dr. Noni, that all that is very fine.
Yeah.
I understand. All that is fine. I take the points you're making. But the fact is that the BJP itself was unable to choose a leader. Now there is president's rule. I want to know who will benefit if Manipur is pushed into further turmoil, as many Meitei groups are saying. And they are opposed to president's rule because they are saying this is exactly what the Kookies wanted. Dr. Mary, would you want to come in here? The point that the Meitis are making is that the Kookies wanted president's rule and they wanted Biren Singh's resignation. Now they've got both, so they have won. Dr. Mary, would you come in here and tell us how you view president's rule in the state and whether you view it as a tool to push the state into further turmoil, like the Meitis are saying?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to the show. One thing I would like to tell about the resignation of Biren is that people have been saying that at last the Kookies have been demanding the resignation of Biren, and then now that he has resigned and president's rule is imposed. And this is something which we have demanded since almost more than 600 days back. So that was even I still remember that was in the end of May, and it was in June 2023 that we already demanded the resignation of Biren Singh as well as imposed president's rule. And then doing that almost after 2 years, after 2 years, I don't think it is something which is going to be beneficial to the Kookie society because the divide is so much, there's already a de facto separation. And I think we need to realize that and seeing all this, it's very important that we need to get into, now that Biren has resigned, he has already admitted his guilt. The important thing is that there should be some political talks, political solution has to be met, and then there should be some form of justice which has to be brought for the victims, as well as in case of the resignation. There are speculations that Biren must have resigned because 93% of the voice which the audio leak tape is matching with Biren's voice, which was brought out by the Truth Lab. So we need to take into consideration. And then the other point is which says that the next day Biren resigned on the 9th, and the next day there was supposed to be a no confidence motion. So I think the BJP doesn't want a slap on their face because they know that Biren is not a popular leader amongst his own party men.
Sure.
So these are the things which we have to really look into. And then I think this is something which is expected of the state because this it has been dragged on for so long, and the whole thing and as if
I mean, it's too late.
the central leadership is not really interested.
Many people.
Yeah.
No, many
you hear
people
me?
will argue that if you have a chief minister who has presided over violence for 20 months, it is way too late. Mary, would you want to conclude, the crux of what you're trying to say? Because I need to get Mathew Antony in as well.
See, what I'm trying to say is that if the center was really interested in bringing about peace, they could have done at least 20 months before that, and then and at least bring some semblance of peace in Manipur. But now that the wound has become so deep, there's so much of the divide which is happening between the Kookies and between the territories. So it's very important that that this division has to be politically solved, and constitutionally our demand is that the Kookies demand is that there should be union territory which is to be given to the Kookies zone. And I don't think this is something which is very difficult, because if you see the state of Jammu and Kashmir in 2019, a state which was partitioned into 2 union territories. So these are things which we have to see viable solutions, because we cannot just simply drag on. And it's very important that the center should
Mary,
not only
you are saying essentially you are asking for an independently administrator.
The smaller community also.
Okay. Okay, but essentially what you are looking for is a separate state or a separate administrative
some
unit.
form of
I'm
dialogue
not
has to
sure
be there
how how many people, especially within the central government, will be okay with it. But Mathew Antony, where do you come in on that? The Kookies are saying we are very clear that it will be difficult for us to coexist with the Meitis. We need either a separate state or a separate administration for ourselves. Where does the Congress party stand on that?
See, the Congress party is very clear on the stand that no, we want the Manipur to be retained as a state. Okay, there is so much of wound which is being created by the BJP government. Our respected Prime Minister had time to play for peace in Ukraine as well as in Gaza. For your statistics, I'm saying from May 2023 onwards, he has done visits to 15 countries till now. And he has got time to statements, to do peace talk and everything like that. And the media hails him for his deflection political strategy, but it is utter cowardly behavior from the Prime Minister, who doesn't have the courage nor the political conscience to address a crisis and to instill confidence in the people, which derailed the Manipur to this state. So this is too little and too less, after 20 months of time. This has been, which has been a demand of the Congress party, that, the president rule should come. However, the president should not be the governor should not be political while executing the president's rule. If that is going to be the case, it is going to be worse. What we need is, there is enough and more wound between the people. There is utter failure in the governance by the BJP. And you speak about the BJP, but I'm telling you that the BJP out of 37, 12 is not with them, and they don't have the majority to rule Manipur anymore. So that is why, they just kind of made the chief minister resign a day before the no confidence motion, or, when the no confidence motion was pushed, because 12 BJP MLAs are not with them. NPP has moved out. KP has moved out. So BJP is not in majority in Manipur, though the assembly has got till 2027. So the president rule is going to continue. The question is whether the governor is going to be impartial. If the governor is not going to be impartial, this is going to be even more further crisis in the state of Manipur. If the government is going to be impartial, and then there is an inclusive approach between all the stakeholders, then there is a possibility of trying to kind of instill some confidence and building peace there. Our leader, Rahul Gandhi, has visited Manipur thrice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he tried he didn't try to put fuel on the fire. He only said, that the Prime Minister, as a Prime Minister, should have had the courage and the responsibility to come to the state when all others have gone to that state to build peace.
Okay, Mr. Antony.
And I'm asking a question to the,
out of time,
to the audience also,
I understand
and to you also. Why the Prime Minister is simply avoiding Manipur? Doesn't he have the courage, or doesn't he have the accountability to the state of Manipur?
Mathew Antony, that is for the BJP and the Prime Minister to answer. I'm no one to answer.
It's for the countrymen.
But thank you very much for joining us.
Women to decide, Shreya, not the BJP.
Dr. Mary, thank you very much. Dr. Noni, thank you very much. Tik. Mathew Antony, we are done, out of time. My producer is screaming it at me now. Thank you so much for joining us, all three of you. It was good to get this perspective from Manipur as well. Good night to all of you. Good night to our viewers. My colleague Ritanshu is joining you up next with the top stories at the top of 9. Do stay with us.